Welcome to the Celtic Craft Studio. I'm Terry, and today we're going to do a flip through of this journal. If you'll remember, this is a journal we were working on the same time we were working on Aubrey. I have journals kind of going along in various stages, and if you've watched those videos, you know I had a little trouble with the signature, and so I had to start a new journal to show you how to sew in the signatures, and this was the one. And now that it's finished, I'm getting ready to put it into my Etsy shop, the Celtic Craft Studio. And I just wanted to flip through and show you the finished product, and kind of there are some things in it that we worked on together, so I thought it'd be interesting for you to see how they were used in the journal. All right, and let me start by saying that the pages, the collage pages, there are other pages in here that belong to, I think the pattern one is Artie Mays, but the collage papers and a lot of the ephemera are from the Old Design Shop. And one of the things I have in here is the shabby ephemera cards, birds. That's the theme. We kind of have a antique advertisement bird theme. I try to have, as you know, a couple themes going on, and those are the themes of this one. And I just love her papers. Her papers are gorgeous. So I would encourage you to go visit the Old Design Shop on Etsy and maybe get some of her collage papers to use in your journals. All right, so that's what we're starting with. We have 3 signatures in this one. And continuing, boy, it's early. Can you tell? My tongue can't function quite yet. I printed out a lot of copyright-free advertisements because I thought they went perfect with the theme of this journal. So they're kind of interesting to look at as you go through. And they're journal cards. They have lines on the back so you can journal on them. We used some of the handmade paper. I love handmade paper. And then I think this paper is an Artie Mays, this design. We did a Rachel wraparound pocket. And then I put a larger piece of ephemera. Joanne asked me on one of the videos, I think it was the Edith Holden video. We were making these, and she asked where I got the things to put inside the piece that we made. And a lot of this ephemera, Joanne, was collected over time. I found a lot of it online. It's copyright free. You got to make sure that it's copyright free. And I have collected it. I've been doing this since 2018. So I've been collecting ephemera for several years now. Also, I had joined the Graphic Fairy when I first started. And that is a great place to find ephemera that you can use. So those would be my suggestions. If you guys have any suggestions for Joanne, please drop them in the comments. She'd like to know where to get ephemera. All right, so like I said, it's the wraparound pockets, so we have something on both sides. Here again, we have journaling cards that are old ads. Coffee dyed paper. Thank you, Nell. Shout out to Nell. She's following and watching now. So go check out Nell and her shop where she has these delightful papers. Her shop is Vintage Style Snippets on Etsy, and you can get yourself some of these for your journal. I also use them in creating ephemera sometimes, so, you know, you can use them for lots of things. All right, here we have a top tuck that looks like a bird's nest. Thought I'd do a little stenciling make it look like a branch, and then I put a journal card. All right, some more, and I tried to kind of have a plain ad and a colored ad to kind of mix it up. We used some straw paper, and you'll see that I punched the edge of this straw paper to make it decorative. And then this is something that we made, kind of like these Edith, and we gave it a bird theme. So I took old book pages, we made booklets out of them. We added some ephemera. Okay, there's a belly band on the back with a bird. Okay, and then what I did was I took a bulldog clip, because you want to be able to take these out. These are kind of fun things to have on their own. So I didn't want to glue it in. So I took a bulldog clip, I clipped it in, and then I went ahead and I have a large journaling card that went here. And these, I love these. I believe I found them on Amazon. They are seed packets, or look like seed packets. And I thought they were perfect for this. So I slipped that back behind so you can see the word seeds. And there you go. And of course, we always have our Edith pages. Very botanical journal. Here we have the tags that we made. I don't know if you watched that one. If you go back and look at some of the ephemera videos, one of the ephemera things that we did was make tags, because not all kits have ephemera that goes with them, or add-on kits as they're called sometimes. So the old design shop, I took her papers and I made tags out of them. These, as I was saying, are from the Graphic Fairy. So you can go on and find stuff on the Graphic Fairy too. So there are our tags. Got the envelope in the middle, and inside an old ad for coffee, of course. We haven't talked much about it, but I am a coffee lover. All right, and I created the pockets. I know I do not have a mouse in my pocket. I created these pockets with journaling cards, put them holes in them, and then glued them down. As we've talked about, use your imagination. If you don't have an ephemera kit, you can make up your own ephemera. All right, more Edith. Beautiful Edith pages. Here's another one of our little booklets. Don't you love that? That is just gorgeous. Straw paper. Here, I liked these bright birds with this bird's nest. I think sometimes when you do top tucks, it's good to kind of think outside the box. Something different. All right, another wraparound pocket. And you'll see the big journal cards have a bird theme to them. Little girls with birds. More ads, a Coca-Cola ad. Some handmade paper. There's another tuck, and that's the end of our first signature. We have 3 signatures in this one. Another little girl with a bird. The wraparound pocket, and I did something a little different with this. I had an ad, and it looks like she could be cut out. So what I did is I cut her out, added her to the rather plain pocket, and then put the ads behind her. Once again, you're just adding a little more interest to your journal. Beautiful coffee paper. Little girl with the birds. Artie Mace has a lot of these great background patterns that are perfect for fillers. I'm one of those, I don't necessarily want the main journal pages every page. I like to break it up, and Artie Mace has some great papers to do that. All right, there's another one of our booklets. Edith. And I've shown you how we fold it out because the size of the page is longer than you need. So I fold it in so that all you have to do is fold it out to look at it. Some more pockets and some more of our tags. Beautiful dragonfly. Foxglove. All right. When it comes to color, I try to just kind of have a color theme at least so that everything kind of blends. I know some people like the clashy. I would be considered matchy-matchy, not clashy-clashy. So, you know, you kind of need to do you. You do you. Whatever makes you happy. For my eye, there needs to be, I mean, you can see the theme there. This is pinkish, that's pinkish, and it all kind of blends together. Even that side's pinkish. All right, here's another one of our little ads. He was on a plain white piece of paper, looked like he needed to be cut out. He needed to be fussy cut. So I did, and put him on the pocket and then put the journal cards behind him. Cracker Jack. That must be Jack. I'll tell you, some of these were very nostalgic. It made me think of when I was a kid and got Cracker Jacks. They were pretty good. All right, a little of my Scottish heritage in here. Scotland's soap. Yes, that is where we get the Celtic Craft Studio from. All right, so that's the end of the second signature. And then our third signature. Once again, we've got some ads, handmade paper. Here we have a little addition to this pocket. I just love this coffee dyed paper. Is just gorgeous and goes perfect with these kind of vintage looking ads. Beautiful, beautiful. Here's a bird in a nest again. Now I know when people, I've had people say, I arrange this so neatly when I'm going through it, and then it gets to them and everything looks a little shook up. So I'm sorry. That's, you know, the postman for you. It's going to get a little shook up, but it started out like this, just so you know. All right. Edith butterflies. I love Edith's butterflies. Gorgeous. All right, our bird tags, and you can do these with any theme. The sky's the limit. There's some bees, some of Edith's bumblebees. And then on this, we used a lot of Edith pages that we cut up for the pockets and stuff. So it kind of blends in. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here's a bird in a nest. Coffee dyed. Here's a little girl with feeding her chickens. Oh, I forgot to remove. Sometimes I put clips. It's a good thing I go through these until my flower dried. There's my flower. there's the end with a big nest and some ephemera tucked inside. And then we have the corners on both the front and the back. All right, and all I have to do, I found some ribbon I like. All I have to do is tie it up after I'm done taking some pictures before I post her. And then that will be in my shop this weekend. Would make a great Mother's Day gift. And if you order it this weekend, it should get to you by Mother's Day. So there's, I don't know that it has a name. I guess we're going to call it the 1920 Journal. I don't know that these are all 1920 ads, but close. So maybe this is the 1920 Journal. Tell me down in the comments below, what do you think? What do you think we should name it? All right. Before I go, let me show you what we're going to do the next time. I do have a flip through of the document journals coming up, but I don't know if that'll be before my ephemera video or not. But I went through my Edith Ephemera box. I have a couple of them. There's one up there too, but this is the one I've been looking through, and it's got a lot of, I'll show you. When I find pieces that I like and I think, oh, I could do something with those, I kind of pop them in here. These, I use some tissue paper on the side. We'll do that. Here's the book that we did. I have some little side tucks that we'll probably talk about. I have several top tucks that I think we'll talk about. Those are the booklets I made. Here's a bunch of tags and pockets. These are pockets that you can put in your journal that I use quite often. So I pulled this out and I found something. I'm pretty sure I have put it in other journals. They were a little different. I think it started out as a pad. Here's my template, I'll show you. I think I actually sewed coffee dyed paper inside and made it a little pad. You don't have to. I have actually glued some of them to writing paper. These don't have the writing paper in them yet, but we'll get it there. And what it is, you can clip it to the top of your journal, open it up, and have lined paper, straw paper. That's an idea. I could put this on straw paper too. I think we'll do that when we make these, because some of these will look great. And that, so you're going to actually see how to make two pieces of ephemera, because I actually close this and clip it on top of the page with a paper clip that has Edith on one side and scrapbook paper on the other. Okay, so that is what we are going to do the next time we get together, is make some more Edith Ephemera and variations of Edith Ephemera. So get out your Edith books and get ready to make some Edith things. All right, I think that's it for the flip through. Go check out the Celtic Craft Studio Etsy shop and see what you can find. There are Edith pages if you need some Edith pages to use. There are printables that you can download and print out and make your own journals. There are fabrics that you can make journal covers with. So there's several. I would say my shop is not only a place to buy handmade journals, but to buy things that you can make your own handmade journals. So go check it out. I'd love to have you stop by and see if you can find something you like. Thank you so much. We have several new followers. So glad to see it. Thank you, Joanne, for the question. I hope I answered it Once again, if you have some ideas, drop them into the comments so Joanne knows where to find some great ephemera. Until the next time, stay crafty.